In this video, we're finally going to discuss one of the most underrated supports in the game. Hailing from the Victoria Housekeeping Company, headmaid Alexandrina Sebastiane is a pretty awesome unit that gets stronger seemingly with each patch. Today, we will break down what makes her so special through her kit, team synergies, and of course, her best build. Sit back, relax, grab yourself some delicious green bean casserole, and let's do this. Rina is our S-rank electric support unit from the standard banner in Zenless Zone 0. She has a very simple, quick playstyle that makes her very effective in a lot of teams and strategies. Of course, her main focus will come from her buffs illustrated in her core passives. Mini Destruction Partner just states that whenever her puppets, Drusilla or Anastella, attack, squad members' pen ratio will increase by a pretty substantial amount. As you'll see, this will work really good with Rina's quick playstyle because the buff doesn't actually last that long. In other words, you'll pretty much have a 30% pen ratio boost when Drusilla and Anastella are out. Rina's additional ability, Banquet of Perfection, will activate when another character in the squad shares the same attribute or faction. Not only does it increase squad members' electric damage by 10% when shocked enemies are on the field, it will also extend the shock by 3 seconds. This is the effect that seemingly keeps getting better each patch. Especially with the new release of Tsukishiro Yunagi, the power has gotten exponentially better. Now let's go over the rest of her kit to see why she's so good. Basic attack Whack the Dimwit, which is a fantastic name, sends out the puppets in order to attack up to 4 times, dealing physical and electric damage. If you hold down the basic attack button, the move becomes Shoe the Fool. The only difference here is that it'll be an electric damage ranged attack. Special attack Beat the Blockhead should almost never be used, and all it does is do an electric damage down smash. Much more importantly is her EX special attack, Dimwit Disappearing Trick. This is arguably her best move, and it'll trigger a quick assist after it hits an enemy. This will deal massive electric damage, but more importantly, it'll send out the puppets for an extended period of time. This will allow you to quick assist into whatever unit comes next in your squad, while having that big pen ratio buff we talked about earlier. Rina's dodges are all pretty simple, and there's nothing too special here. Just be focused on the dodge counter more, because it'll do electric damage and send out the puppets. Also worth noting is Rina's chain attack. Most of the time, I'll use her last in the chain attack sequence to get that quick assist into my DPS. This and the EX special are the two best ways to get Drusilla and Anastella to stay on the field the longest. Once your decibel rating is at 3000, aka max, you of course know what time it is. Press Q to activate Rina's ultimate. The Queen's attendants have a couple of different abilities, and it has a super cool animation. When you use the skill, all of their squad members will recover 10 energy, and the next character to switch in will receive an additional 20 energy. Perhaps more importantly is this also has that quick assist functionality. Overall, as you can see, her kit is pretty simple. Just be focused on that quick assist functionality between the EX special and chain attack, and Rina should never be on the field too long except to send out her puppets for the pen ratio buff. Before we dive into her best build, let's discuss what teams Rina excels in. With the latest patch, her best team has actually changed. The Super Zap team. Rina, Yanagi, and Seth in that order is by far her best team and probably one of the best in the game. In the same sense, any electric team will work very well with her, especially because of that additional ability. Remember that shock gets extended and electric damage increases by 10%. However, she also works in a much better amount of teams due to her general nature of those pen buffs from the core passive. There isn't too much more to discuss concerning Rina's team synergies, just focus on this core passive and additional ability. Let's talk about the best way to build Rina now. Sadly, her W engine selection is a bit limited past her signature Weeping Cradle. This is her best in slot by a healthy margin. In fact, I'm actually saving up my extra pull currency to get her W engine from that shop on my alt account. Past this, however, there aren't any other S-rank supports in the game yet. For A ranks, I actually prefer Kaboom the Cannon next. It works pretty well with Rina's quick playstyle since she's only on the field for a few seconds at a time, and the stacks can increase on Kaboom fairly easily. If you don't have Kaboom the Cannon, the next best option is Slice of Time S5. Since Rina loves energy, the extra generation is very nice from this one. Additionally, Slice of Time has the advanced stat of pen ratio, which is her best stat. Moving on to disk drives, Rina has a couple of very good options. For 4 pieces, her best in slot option will be Swing Jazz unless you have someone else in the squad who already is wearing it. Remember that these passive effects do not stack, as it says in the description. Another build that's worth playing around with is 4-piece Freedom Blues, especially if you want to focus on shock and anomaly teams. When I was testing Yanagi for early access, I actually used this build on Reena and it seemed to actually improve the damage output a little bit, although I just had to make sure to use Reena's EX special more often. You also have a couple of options for 2 pieces, although her best is by far Puffer Electro for the pen ratio. Other options would be Swing Jazz for the energy regen, Hormone Punk or Thunder Metal just for an overall damage buff. As for main stats, slot 4 should only be either attack percent or anomaly proficiency, slot 5 should only be pen ratio percent, and slot 6 should only be energy regen, but you can also get away with attack percent with really good pen stat. And it's the same kind of concept for her stat priority, focus on getting that pen whenever you can and as many rolls as possible, then either anomaly proficiency or attack percent. As for our cute little buddies the Bangboos, it'll highly depend on what team you use Reena in. In any electric team, use Plug Boo, in Victoria Housekeeping, use Butler, the new Night Boo is pretty good, etc, etc. Since there's not as much material to go over for Reena and she's pretty simple, next up is the Mindscapes. Mindscape 1 Dance Duet is very good and is actually probably one of the better ones in the game, especially between the standard banner characters. Not only does this increase the core passive to 130% effect value, it will also keep Drusilla and Anastella in place for an additional 5.5 seconds, meaning a longer pen ratio buff. M2 isn't that important, it just increases Reena's damage when she switches in, M4 increases her energy regen when Drusilla and Anastella are deployed, and M6 triggers an entire squad-wide electric damage increase when EX Special, Chain Attack, or Ultimate is used on the enemy. To be honest though, if you do have the chance to get M1 with your 300 standard banner pull choice, it may be worthwhile to have the Mindscape over a different character you might not have. I'm actually highly considering this myself over Lycone since I already have Lighter, but we'll see what the completionist part of me says about that when I do get to 300. But there you have it for a quick Alexandrina guide. Overall, she's definitely one of the simpler units in the game and is actually very good. She works in a lot of different teams because of her quick, buff-focused playstyle. Just be sure to have Drusilla and Anastella out at all times if you can help it, especially with EX Special and Chain Attack, so you get those good pen ratio buffs. However, let me know what you think about Reena in the comments below, and please make sure you don't have any of her food. I look forward to discussing the character and Zenless as a whole with you all, and that's it. Make sure to like the video if it helped in any way, and subscribe for more Zenless content, especially with a certain Thyron character coming out very soon that I know everybody's excited for. Thank you so much for watching, and bye for now.